Hey there, it's Rachel from All About Planners. In this video, I'm doing a review of the 2018 Goal Digger Planner from My Goals. So if you guys follow my blog, last year I tried a different planner each week, and one of the ones that I tried was the 2017 My Goals Planner. Loved it so much that I was really keen to try out the 2018 planner. The creator of the planner, who is called Adam, and he's a fellow Aussie, he was kind enough to send me the planner in exchange for this review, so there's a full disclaimer. I was going to buy it anyway because I really liked the planner. They made a lot of good improvements from the 2017 one, so let's have a closer look. So first things first, the planner arrived in this box, which would be really good for gifting. It's got like the mission statement thing on the box, which is pretty cool. Nice little extra touch. It also came with this cute little Get Shit Done book, which you can get off their website as well. Really good for daily on-the-go planning with line note-taking space, top 3, love the top 3. That features throughout the planner as well, which is probably one of the reasons why I love it so much. And then little check boxes. It's a very handy little notebook. I got this last year as well, and I got the, I think it was the red coloured one. It comes in a couple of colours. Just a handy little notebook. It literally feels like it weighs nothing. It's super small, as you can see in size comparison with my hands. That one's a really good one for on-the-go planning. Alright, so let's have a flick through of the 2018 planner. But first things first, let's do a quick comparison. So the 2018 version is taller, and it is also wider and fatter as well. So the 2017 was just the weekly and the monthly. This one here has the goal setting pages as well as some other add-on pages as well. So it is a bit heavier, but it has a lot packed in there, and it's probably about the same weight anyway as a spiral binding one. You don't get the bulky coil. So to each their own. I personally prefer coil because you can flick it open, but this one does surprisingly stay flat when you open it. Like, I'm not touching that and it's still laying flat. So that's pretty good because most of the sewn book-bound planners don't want to lay flat on their own. Okay, so in terms of the cover, it is a little plain for my liking. I'm thinking about getting my Silhouette machine out and making a monogram gold foil sticker to jazz up the cover a bit, because I did really like that pop of gold on the 2017 one. Okay, so let's have a flip through. Oh, sorry, size. I know guys will be commenting going, what's the size? Okay, so it's about 6.5 wide by approx 9.25. I'll have the dimensions and do the proper measurements, which will be linked in the blog post below. Okay, so let's go have a look-see. So one of the things that I really like about this planner as well is that it has a lot of quotes throughout, but they're not like cheesy quotes. Some planners do like really kind of lame quotes, but these ones are actually good, like motivational ones. So really like that part as well. Okay, so the start of the planner is like your initial goal setting stuff, which will obviously set the tone for what you plan throughout the rest of the book. It has lots of guided goal setting pages, a lot more than most planners include. Most of them just slap a blank page, give it a title called goals, and then you're like on your own, whereas this one is quite detailed, like steps you through with all questions and where you can do rating, so year in review. So it's very comprehensive, one of the most comprehensive goal setting collection of pages in a planner that I've come across. And then it also has some future planning in 3 months, 3 years, 5 years, 12 months, so you can do a lot of goal setting in this one. And then you've got the vision space, which most planners just include this as their goal setting pages. So this one is pretty comprehensive. So that's just the initial planning. Let's go into the actual goal setting. So they do give you some tips, and then quite like this one, especially that. Okay, so another thing that I like about this planner, built into it, it tells you how they recommend that you use it, some tips on like what to put in each section, which I always find really interesting how other people use planners to get some ideas. So there is short-term and long-term goal setting pages, and there's quite a few pages for the long-term ones. Like, it's not just a one-pager thing, you've got a fair bit of room to plan things out. So let's have a look at some. So the short-term goals page. So these ones are 1 page only. So up the top, we've got the type of goal, the duration, what and why, checklist with the little circles which continue throughout the planner as well. So I really like when planners include this, because then you can put a line through when the task is started, shade half the circle when you've like progressing on it, and then when the full circle is like colored in, you know that it's complete. So I like doing that with checkboxes. Really like that it's built into this planner. The reward, date completed, and also another feature that I really like on this planner. So because there's no tabs, which is definitely a con, instead it has this little text down the bottom here where you can easily find what you're looking for, like what week number, if you're looking for a monthly calendar, etc., which is quite handy. There's also 2 built-in bookmarks as well, and they're quite fat and sturdy, so I reckon they'll hold up quite well throughout the year. which is good because some ribbon bookmarks tend to fray and get a bit tacky. So I have to see how that one turns out. Again, lots of nice quotes. Really like the simple black and white theme continued throughout the planner. So a lot of goal setting pages. Now we go into the long-term goal setting pages. So we have your typical brainstorm space, but then the difference between this one and most other planners is that it really steps it out for you. You've got lots of line writing space, which is great because if you write crooked like I do, it ends up just being a mess if you don't have lines. And then we've got key milestones, again, in the grouping of 3, which is how I always plan, so that's great. You could put a due date or a time for how long you think it will take to accomplish that task. So these pages are quite similar to the ones that I use to plan my Classroom Printables e-course, which I use the My Goals Planner for, so I'll have the link below if you're curious. So these goal setting pages were really helpful when I did that. Okay, so let's go through to the planner pages. So again, another example of how they recommend that you use it. So each month has a goal setting page, a 2-page monthly calendar, and then the weekly spread, which is again 2 pages, and then a monthly review. So there's a lot in this planner, which is why it's a lot fatter. So the one last year didn't have quite so many review pages. The other big difference is that the 2017 one had the months at the start of the year clustered. So if I can open this, sorry, a bit awkward with one hand. So I had the months in a different format in list style, and they were all clustered at the front, and then at the back was all the weekly pages. So another difference again, I actually quite liked it when they clustered the months at the front. I found it easier to find because then I could have one page marker with the month and then another one with the weekly spread. But this year they've gone more for the traditional format of the month and then followed by the weeks and then the next month. So like the traditional format. Okay, so we've got the dates at a glance pages for 2018 and 2019. Starts on a Sunday. The public holidays page. So because it is an Australian planner, it's got all the Aussie holidays in there for each state, which is awesome. Also has some US and UK ones in here as well. So if you live outside of Australia, yes, you can still use this planner. Got the yearly bucket list. Okay, so the monthly goal setting page. Absolutely love this, so functional. Okay, so like I mentioned before, how I do things in like a group of 3. So you can do 3 goals for each month and really step them out into each category. Lots of note-taking space with lines, some open-ended space if you wanted that as well, and then some morning rituals. Not sure about that. I probably don't need to write that down, so I might use some whiteout and make that into something else. So for this one, I'm thinking about using it for blog planning. So I can have one area, so planner reviews, maybe planning tips, and then another category like pen reviews that I blog about, and then some blog post ideas. So I think this is really handy for that. And then we go into the 2-page monthly planner. So like I showed before, it's previously in the 2017, it was in the list format, which I really like because it had lots of line writing space, which was really functional to write things on. This time they've gone for the more traditional box format, but with a bit of a difference. The Saturday and Sunday boxes are bigger, which is brilliant because they never tend to make them bigger in planners. And for me personally, when I'm at my day job during the week, I don't really need to write anything in the Monday to Friday boxes. I have more stuff going on Saturday and Sunday. So this layout is really going to be gelling with how I plan, which is awesome. So you'll probably notice if you've watched any of my other planner reviews that I always check if the months, when the date, for example, if this was the 30th and then you had the 31st, if they split the box, which I absolutely hate, or if they start it again up the top, and this one does restart the numbering up the top, which is brilliant. Okay, so that one on the monthly calendar starts on a Monday, and then on the weekly calendar also starts on a Monday. Woohoo! So they've kept it consistent because some planner companies don't do that for whatever weird reason, which doesn't make sense to me, but this one has. So brilliant, ticking all the boxes. So the the weekly spread. Okay, so we start up the top with the weekly focus, which again is what I always do anyway. So basically this layout is like my dream layout. It just about ticks all the boxes on my very picky and long planner wish list. So we've got the days of the week on the left here with some line writing space and some open-ended space. So you could do like bills due and then meal planning, like keep things separate with 2 categories, or flag any tests or due dates or anything happening, and then just like your general day-to-day stuff like laundry and cleaning, those sort of reminders in there. The line spacing is pretty good. They're quite wide lines, so you don't have to write like an ant to fit stuff in. And it also has the public holidays printed on the weekly spread. I have not seen them printed on the monthly calendar though, which I actually prefer because you've got that list of them at the start anyway. So you're not like wasting space on the monthly calendar. Okay, so line space, and then we come over here to the second page. So I wouldn't really use the grateful for section. I might white that out and put another title in there. Do love the top 3 weekly goals though, because I always do that. Habit tracking. So in last year's version, let me get that out. Sorry, a bit awkward doing this one-handed. Okay, so in last year's version, they had the days of the week on the side as well, but Saturday and Sunday were half the amount of space, which I didn't like. So I really love the improvements with an equal amount of planning space for each day of the week. And then the other thing that wasn't quite right for me was there's only 3 habit tracking spaces. This time they've bumped it up to 7, which is brilliant. And it's also got a little spot here where you can record how many you did that week too, which I love, very functional. Okay, then we got the things to do, again, top 3, brilliant. The checkboxes, lined writing space, space to rate your week, top 3 wins, and then some open-ended space, which you could use for anything, or put in a sticky note, or whatever you want to do. So, lots of quotes throughout the planner up the top as well. So, it's continued like that through to, let's go to the monthly review page. So, most planners don't bother with a review. They'll just do like a monthly planning, then the weekly spread, and then that's it. Whereas this one has the review page. So again, really big focus on the 3, like top 3, which is great. Lots of line writing space, and then some blank space to do whatever you want. And then it goes into the next month. So if I flick to where I've already bookmarked it, this was what I was talking about before with the dates restarting up the top row. Just wanted to show that. And then in the next one, this one here, so if you've got the month where it ends like midweek, then it just puts the little month there rather than doing what some planners do where they like duplicate the page and then shade out the last 2 dates, which I find a bit odd. Plum Paper does that. Or where they just don't put anything there, they just like restart the numbering, whereas this one flags that that's when August starts. Really like that little feature. Very well thought out planner. And very functional. Love it. Okay, so keep going. So the other things that are new with the 2018 version are the budget, like add-on pages at the back here. So we've got enough for each month. Track your income, your expenses, so you can work out where you're sitting. Very handy pages to have. If you always tend to like glue pages in or add them, then you don't need to because they're already built in. We've got some blank and lined note-taking space, and there's quite a few pages of these, as you can see. A lot more again than most planners include. Most only do like 2 or 3, which is kind of useless to me. So love that they've included a lot of them. Put like your cleaning checklists and other things like password logs that you refer to all the time. And then we come to the back of the planner, which has that same black cover as the front. So on the whole, really love the weekly spread of the 2018 more so than last year's 2017 one. Did prefer the monthly planning pages of the, that was one of the ways I was going to use it last year. I have another link to the blog post that I did on how I did actually end up using it last year as well. And then I'll also include the 2018 one when I get around to trying out the planner. So if I go to the, that's right there at the front, the monthly planning pages. I do prefer this format for the monthly calendar, but you've got the traditional format in the 2018. So if you prefer that, and that was one of the reasons why you didn't want to get it last year, then they've changed that. The other thing, that both of them don't have tabs, so it would have been nice to see some tabs added in. But on the whole, this weekly spread is pretty much just like diminishing any cons that I have because I just love it so much. It's so perfect. Totally in sync with how I plan the week. So love, love, love it. I hope you found this review helpful, and I'll have the link to the pen testing, the dimensions, etc. For the blog post linked in the description box below. So I'll see you in the next video.